Hey Maker, I am your digital marketing coach, Tori, and today we're going to talk about SEO. So, SEO is search engine optimization. So, what is it and how do we use it as quilting or crafting business owners? So, SEO, search engine optimization, it's a long-standing practice for search engines. Search engines like Google, Bing, Microsoft, and it's expanded to more platforms like YouTube and Pinterest. And even Instagram, Meta is starting to move toward using SEO or keyword based searching rather than what they were using in the past. So it's an important concept to read about, learn about, and understand. So SEO. All right. So I also have a blog post for you that goes into more detail. So if you'd like to see this written out, I'll tag or link the blog post below so you can see this all written out. And I also in the blog post go into how this also helps generative engine optimization, which will be a separate video. Now, generative engine optimization is how chatbots like Google Gemini can help. You can help them find your content online. So today I want to focus on SEO though. So an SEO and GEO, they go hand in hand. They help each other. So specifically SEO. So key parts of good SEO, they're fairly simple to include in your website, in your captions, in your descriptions, in your titles and headings. So the first one I want to talk about is keywords and using those keywords in content. So using words that people are searching for. So if you're wondering about more detail on keywords, there is a separate video called Keywords. So you can go back and check that out for more detail. The other thing you're looking at is for SEO is your site speed. So you want your site to load quickly. And there are several services out there, several free things on the internet where you can just search site, like testing site speed, and you'll load in your link to your site and it can test your speed for you. My website host is Wix, and they actually have one built in that can show you your site speed, which makes it really easy to see if you're optimizing that site speed. Now you do want to make sure your site speed, you want your pages to load within a few seconds. So if your page is taking too long to load, it tends to turn off customers and they bounce or they, click away from your site because it's taking too long to load. Another thing for SEO is your on-page content and meta. So we're looking at title tags, meta descriptions, and you want clean URLs. And that's another one down here. But clean URLs it's a very simple URL that the names of your page typically translate to the URL. So you don't want to name your page something complicated or something like page 208B892. That's not a clean URL. It's a much more complicated one to understand. However, if your URL for, let's say, your quilt shop, in a quilt shop, you'll probably have maybe a pattern shop. So you can name your shop on your website quilt pattern shop. So if you have, like, my business was named the Quilt Patch by Tori. So a clean URL would look like the Quilt Patch by Tori dash pattern or quilt pattern shop. That's a clean URL, easy to understand, has some keywords in there, and it helps the search engines understand what that page is for rather than, page 34825B7. Okay, another thing to think about with SEO is backlinks. So that is when you have a link on someone else's platform or their site that is linking back to your website or in some cases your content. That looks like embedding YouTube videos in your web pages. That looks like linking blog posts to YouTube. It looks like being a guest on someone else's podcast and having them link your site in their podcast description in the show notes. It looks like being a guest on other people's newsletters or other people's blogs where they can tag your different pages of your website or your content and link it back to you. Those are backlinks. And lastly, thinking about user experience. So SEO engines, search engines, they really they try to be human centric. So they try to rank your sites based off of user experience. You want to make sure your pages are easily navigated. So a human is going through and they can find what they want to find. There's readable pages, so we're not looking at really tiny font or such big font that we can't get the message of what's going on. You've got some keywords sprinkled in there. You've got bolded headings or bolded even keywords or key information that you want your user to be able to skim through. So readable pages. And it's easy. It's easy to go through. You want it simple, clean, easy for them to use. And that's all going to help your search engine optimization. So let me see. I'm looking at my blog post and see if there's any other detail that might help with understanding SEO. So for creative entrepreneurs like our quilt pattern designers, our quilting teachers, our makers, our long arm quilters, you want to make sure that your class descriptions or your service descriptions are searchable. So they're not like we're talking about the URL, clean URL. You want to make sure you've got a separate page if you have guild lectures. So the guild lectures get their own page. Your on-demand classes have their own page. And even a page per class can even make it easier for the search engine to find what you're offering. So keeping those things in mind, you want to make sure you're answering specific questions that people might be searching in like your headings, in your titles and subheadings. Like you want to make sure that is really clear and easy for not only humans to read and to understand, but a search engine to read and understand. And it's really helpful to have an FAQ page that walks through all frequently asked questions that you might receive if you are offering anything that you're offering. But if you're offering a main service like long arming, having those key questions that your customers will be asking before they want to send you their quilt. If you're hosting on-demand classes, you want to make sure your FAQs answer how to sign up, how they're paying, refund policy, all those frequently asked questions, and they're laid out on the page. They're not hidden behind buttons where they have to click to go find the answer to those questions. You want them laid out on the page and easy for that search engine to find. And that is all going to help your SEO. So if you want more detail on SEO, you can follow the link below to the blog post that'll walk you through in a lot more detail about what SEO is and how to use it. And there's also links in there for the keyword blog post as well within that same SEO blog post. And then if you want some one-on-one help with your SEO on your site, I do offer coaching. I offer 30 minutes free for your first coaching. So we could jump in, talk about your page and your SEO, talk about the goals for what you want this website to be for and how best to use it. And then I will tell you a little bit more about my digital marketing magic coaching program, which is where I help quilters and crafters with their digital marketing. And we do that one-on-one or in group. So it's really easy to kind of pick and choose what you need help with. I have it very much a choose your own adventure type of system and setup for you. So you can choose what you need when you need it, and you can get the help that you need. So anyway, go ahead and explore the blog post below for more detail on SEO and like and subscribe for more content like this.